Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa and welcome back to day 4 of your 30-day Pilates challenge. Today's focus is one of my favorites, lower body. Let's go ahead and lay onto our backs and get started. We're going to start in a bridge here. So I want you in a setup with your heels quite close to your hips for me and your feet about hip bones distance apart. So I want you to feel where your hip bones are. And then I want you to make sure your heels are in line with those. We don't want them too wide. Hands are going to be pressing onto your mat. We're going to start with a flat back bridge here. I want you to keep your spine nice and neutral. We're going to exhale, push your hips straight up into your bridge. Hold once you're there. A lot of us, our tendency is to flare the ribs to get our rib cage as high as we can. That is more of a yoga bridge. We want to keep the ribs knitted, so that we have this nice diagonal from our knees, lowering down to our hips, and then lowering down to our shoulders. You're going to hinge your hips down towards the mat. Maybe they tap down for a second, and then you push your hips right back up. Inhale, you hinge your hips down. Exhale, you push your hips back up. Keep moving just like that, flat back bridging. I want us to keep the focus here through the glutes, through the hamstrings, but then also still being aware of your core, because this is Pilates and every movement does begin with your center. You're using your exhale, squeezing your abdominals to lift your hips back up. Let's lower the hips for 4, and lift. Hips lower for 3, and up 2 more, tap down 2, press, last one. I want you to keep your hips up to the ceiling and hold. I want you to float your arms up to the sky. Shoulders are plugging out of the ears, glutes are squeezing to keep that nice pelvic tuck here. Now you're going to reach your arms all the way overhead so that they're laying onto the mat behind you. You're going to roll through your spine. As you roll your spine down, reach the arms down or back behind you. Let the hips come all the way to neutral. Float the arms up to the ceiling. Tuck your pelvis. I want you to roll up to an articulating bridge, one vertebrae at a time. At the top, you'll reach your arms all the way overhead. Peel the spine down. Feel space through the spine as you roll down through each vertebrae, and then lift the arms up. 2 more like that. Tuck through your pelvis. Roll through the spine to lift up into that articulating bridge. Reach the arms overhead, big stretch here as you roll through your spine, back onto your mat. Let the arms lift back to the ceiling. Last one, exhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Keeping active through the glutes, through the inner thighs, reach the arms overhead. Roll your spine down, bone by bone. And then let the arms float back onto your mat. Push your palms down to the floor. Press your shoulders down to the floor as well. Tuck your hips. Start to articulate up one vertebrae at a time, lifting your hips back up. And then starting with your ribs, roll through your spine right back down. Out of the corner of your eyes, you should be able to see your knees, making sure they're not splaying open to either side, and making sure they're not knocking together. They're staying in true parallel, just like 2 parallel train tracks here, running alongside each other. 1 more, articulating bridge. Your hamstrings and glutes should be starting to feel nice and awake. Roll all the way down through your spine. Pause at the bottom. I want us to find a tuck of our pelvis, and I just want you to lift your hips up, barely even an inch off the mat, and then roll your hips back down. Come back to that neutral pelvis. So you're tucking your hips underneath you, squeezing your glutes to lift your hips just 1 inch off the mat. My mid-back is still pressing into the floor. And then I'm rolling back down, letting my pelvis come to neutral. 2 more. Exhale, deep tuck through my abdominals, lift my hips, pause. I should really be feeling the backs of my legs here. And then roll back down, let your pelvis come all the way into that neutral. Last one, tuck your pelvis. Lift just the hips up, hold here. Keep feeling the tailbone drawing down and forward. Keep that deep scoop here from the core. I want you to lift your hips up, peel the spine back into that full bridge position. We're gonna lift onto your toes so the heels come off of the mat, and then just lower the heels down. You're lifting onto the toes, and then gently lower the heels down. We're coming into your calf raises here, working on that ankle strength and stability. Let's lift for 4. Make sure you're not dumping into the lower back. Your abs are supporting the spine. 3, 2, lift onto the toes and pause. Pulse the hips up for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll through your spine all the way down, keeping the heels lifted to the very last second, then you can let the heels lower. Then let's roll onto our right side here. So we work the backs of the legs. Let's work the sides of the legs here. You have a couple options. You can prop your head up with your hand, or you can just rest onto your arm like a pillow, whatever works for you. I want your legs pitched forward to the front corners of your mat. Your spine should be in line with the back edge of your mat. Now you're lifted up through these bottom obliques here. So even if you're laying down, you should feel a lift up here through the bottom side. Now with your left leg, you're gonna lift your left leg up hip height and then lower down. I want you to feel this in your outer hip and thigh here to lift the leg, and then resist gravity as you pull your inner thighs in towards each other. So as we move through our side lying series, yes, our focus is on legs, but it's a lot about the stability here through your torso. So it's about keeping that core engagement to keep the upper half of the body completely still. Let's lift 3 more. 3. Lift 2. Now I want you to hold on the up. We're gonna brush the leg forward. You're gonna point through the toes. Brush the leg back as far as you can keep this neutral spine. Flex the foot, brush forward. Point the toe, brush back. These are your side lying kicks here. Our focus is this nice pelvic stability here. Reaching that left leg behind you, and then brushing the left leg forward. Let's reach back for 3. Reach back for 2. 1 more, reach back. And then bring that leg in line with your hip. And then go ahead and lower that leg down. Let's turn out both legs. So you're gonna be on that ball of that bottom foot. I want you to bring your left leg up to the ceiling, still in this turned out position, and then bring that left leg back down. Point the toe this time as you bring the leg up. Flex the foot as you lower the leg. Now that leg can lift any amount that works for you. We're just trying to keep that leg in that external rotation, so keep that inner thigh reaching forward. Let's go 2 more. Reach that leg up and lower. Last one, reach up and lower, down. Bring the legs back to parallel. We have one last set here. I want us to lift that leg back up to hip height. We're gonna come into bicycles here. I want you to point through the toe, brush the left leg behind you. You're gonna bend the knee. Think about kicking the heel into your glute. Pull the knee forward and then reach the leg straight in front of you. So you're gonna brush the leg back, bend through the knee, kick the heel back to your glute, bring the knee forward, extend the leg. Let's do 2 more. Reach that leg back, pull into that quad stretch, bring the knee in, and extend forward. 1 more. Brush the leg back, bending into that quad stretch, pull in, and reach back out. Bring that leg back to center and relax. Pull the legs into a tabletop position. I want you to lift the toes up to this high diagonal. We're going to open that leg into a clam and then close back in. So now we're getting into those rotators of the top hip here. You're squeezing your left glute to push that left thigh up and back. Let's go 3, 2, hold for 1. I want you to extend that left leg up, Tap the toes back down and then bring the knee back in. Open the clamp, extend the leg, tap the toes, come back in. Let's go 3 more. And in, open 2. Try to keep that quad where it is as you open the leg. Just extend right from the knee. Tap the toes in. Hold here, just lower the bottom foot. We're in this internal rotation here through this top leg. You're reaching the leg up on that diagonal again, and then pulling the knees together. We're really fatiguing these left hip muscles here. Let's reach that leg up and out for 4. Reach 3. Reach 2. And 1, and lower down. Good, let's come on over to the other side. So we're coming back into that side lying series. Your spine is in line with the back edge of your mat. Your legs are straight out to the front corner of your mat. We're gonna start with our side lying lifts here. You're gonna lift your top leg up hip height and then lower down. It doesn't need to be much higher than that hip. Might lift just a little bit. And now we want to find this lift through your left obliques. So you might be able to reach behind you and reach underneath that left side. Let's lift that leg up for 4. 3. All right, hold that leg here. We're gonna brush the leg forward. You're gonna point through the right toes to brush the leg back, pause. Feel that hip opening as you reach the leg further back while keeping your core tight. Now flex through the right foot to brush forward. Point the toe, reach the leg back. Find that flow. As you move, making sure that bottom leg is pushing down into your mat for added support. And this top leg is staying in line with your hip. It's not falling down to the floor. Let's brush back for 2. 1. Bring that leg back to center, lower the foot. Let's find that turn out. You're on the ball of the bottom foot. Reach the leg up to the ceiling and lower down. You can add that point of the toe as you lift, flex of the feet to lower. In this nice external rotation here through the hip, so that the inner thigh is trying to pull forward. 2 more. Last one. Come back to parallel. Let's find our bicycles here. Lift this top leg up hip height. Point with the toe. You're gonna brush the leg back first. Find that opening of the hip. Bend the knee, pull the heel in towards your glute as you pull the knee forward, extend the leg out. Brushing back, bend the knee, pull the knee in, reach forward. Bring awareness back to your core if we forgot about it. Focusing on the hips, staying stacked the entire time. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And then lower the feet. Nice. Let's go ahead and bring the legs back into a tabletop position. Lift the toes up to your diagonal. We're coming into clam here. You're going to open this top knee out and then pull it back in. Getting that external rotation again through that top hip and then squeeze the inner thighs to touch. Don't forget about that lift here through your bottom waist. The second side always seems harder. Let's go 4. Push that thigh up and back for 3. 2. And I want you to hold open for 1. You're going to reach that leg up, tap the toes back in, and then pull the knee in. We're going to open, reach that leg to that high diagonal, tap in, and lower. Again, we're trying to keep that quad where it is and just extend behind the back of the knee. Let's go 2. And 1. Hold the knees together, lower your bottom foot down. We're still in that internal rotation through that top hip. Reach the right leg up to that corner, and then pull the knees back together. You want to feel this thigh bone spiraling into tap towards your bottom leg. And then really feel this top of the hip working as you straighten that leg up and back for 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Knees in, rest the feet. Let's roll onto our backs. Let's take a quick figure 4 here. You're going to cross your right leg over your left, grab behind your left hamstring, and just pull the leg in towards you. With that right elbow, you're just slightly pushing that right thigh open. Let's see if you can extend that left leg up to the ceiling, and then bend the left leg back in. 2 more, left leg extends up, and back. 1 more, extend the left leg up, and in, reach the left leg to the ceiling, pause. Walk your hands up to the ankle, and just see if you can pull deeper into that stretch here. We're going to switch the legs. Left leg crosses over right. Grab behind your right hamstring for me. With your left elbow, you're pushing that left thigh open, and your hands are pulling your hamstring in towards your waist. With every exhale, you're just trying to relax a little more into that stretch. We're going to start to straighten the right leg up, and then bend the right leg in. As we're extending the right leg, your left elbow is still pushing firmly against the left thigh. Reaching up. On this next one, reach your right leg to the ceiling. Walk your hands up to the ankle if you can. Pull a little deeper into that stretch. I want you to grab onto your legs and just rock your back side to side in a tight ball shape here. We're going to do one more thing, focusing on hip extension here. So I want us to flip on over to our stomachs, and you're just going to rest your head onto your hands, and we're going to come into single leg lifts here. So you're going to lift your right leg up and lower the right leg down. Same thing we did 2 days ago. Left leg will lift and left leg lowers. So you're squeezing the glute and hamstring to lift the thigh off the floor. And we're getting into that nice extension in the front of the hip. 2 more here. Pause here. I want us to bend our legs, flex our feet. Keep the heels touching. We're going to alternate. Right leg is going to lift and then lower down. The heels will come apart as you lift one leg up and lower down. Give me just 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now both heels are going to lift, lifting both quads off the mat, and then lower back down. Lifting both feet up, lowering down. Let's lift up for 6. Lift 5. 4, keep pushing your pelvis down into the floor. 3, 2, we're holding on 1. Little pulses up for 8, 7, 6, abs are squeezing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs. Good. Sit back into a child's pose for me. Knees are wide. Reach your arms forward. Relax here. Really nice work today, everyone. I want you to just shift the hips slightly right to left. Feel a loosening up through the hip joint, loosening up through the lower back and through the pelvis as you do this. Slowly feel the hips sinking deeper towards the heels. And just find stillness. Take one inhale. On your exhale, let everything go. And then bring yourself up to seated. Really nice work today, everyone. I will see you tomorrow for day 5.